The voice of the drum calls. It sings a song of those who came before us and those to come. A song of survival and strength. A song of participation and voice. A song that calls us together. When we come together and participate in the 2010 census, we use this tool as the voice of all our Native people. Our voice. It is in our hands. 2010 census.
Welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Monday, April 26th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. Many of the stories read here can also be found at our website at indiancountrynews.com. Here are the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. While some states choose to celebrate Arbor Day on a different date that coincides better with their growing season, National Arbor Day is celebrated on the last Friday in April by many states such as Wisconsin. The best way to celebrate Arbor Day is to plant trees. The Arbor Day Foundation's website at arborday.org offers many helpful tips to celebrate the tree planters holiday, from how to plant a tree to selecting the right tree for the right place. To find out which trees grow best on what state, consult the Arbor Day Foundation's hardiness zone map at arborday.org/treeinfo. For example, in Wisconsin, the state tree is the sugar maple, and it's one of the recommended planting trees as far back as we can remember. Hollywood director James Cameron says that he is committed to helping indigenous peoples around the world who, like the fictitious Na'vi in his film Avatar, are caught in the interface between the expansion of our technical civilization into the few remaining preserves of this planet. Several months after the release of Avatar and 2 days after the release of the DVD on Earth Day, Cameron was invited to speak at two events on April 24th that were associated with the 9th session of the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues taking place in New York City through April 30th. James Cameron joined the panel discussion, Real Life, Pandora's on Earth, Indigenous Peoples' Urgent Struggles for Survival, held at the Paley Center for Media in Midtown Manhattan on April 24th. Also on the panel were Tonya Gonella Frischner, co-chair and North American regional representative of UN Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. Carmen Ramirez Boscan represented Wayuu communities in Colombia. Oren Lyons, a faith keeper of the Onondaga Nation and board member of the Seventh Generation Fund, and Atosa, let's see if we can find them here, and Atosa Sultani, executive director of Amazon Watch. Cameron said that many indigenous communities and environmental organizations have contacted him seeking his help and support recently. The panel discussion was sponsored by Amazon Watch, the Indigenous Environmental Network, Cultural Survival, and the Seventh Generation Fund for Indian Development. 91 Sequoyah Schools students at Tahlequah, Oklahoma in the Cherokee Nation recently earned a National Math Award for their outstanding performance in high school mathematics. To be eligible for a nomination for the official United States Achievement Academy Scholarship Foundation National Mathematics Awards, students must have a 3.3 grade point average in their math class, show mathematical skills and aptitude, demonstrate an attitude of cooperation, leadership, dependability, enthusiasm, responsibility, and have a desire to learn and improve. After 3 years of a major renovations that included a mud plaster facelift, the painted kiva at Coronado State Monument is expected to reopen this summer. The site is a familiar landmark to Albuquerque area residents. Until the year 2006, visitors could climb down a wooden ladder and see the inside of this ceremonial space. Over the past 3 years, the kiva has been closed because of serious structural problems. It is expected now to reopen around June 6th. The next phase in the restoration is preservation of the 1938 murals, which replicated the original 500-year-old murals found inside the kiva. State officials says those original murals served as an example of some of the most well-preserved Native American paintings anywhere. A county sheriff in northern Idaho Idaho has reneged on a deal to give authority to Courte tribal police officers to arrest non-tribal members on the reservation, the tribe said last week. Benewah County made more than 50 changes to the cross-deputization pact that Sheriff Bob Kurtz agreed to this year under the threat of lawmaker intervention, said Tribal Chairman Allen in a statement. I'm extremely disappointed with this new document, Allen said. It's not what we agreed to. Idaho lawmakers in March delayed voting on a bill that would give Indian tribal police arrest powers without permission from the local sheriff. The Courte tribe pushed the bill, arguing that the tribal police needed arrest powers because county deputies don't respond to calls for help with non-tribal members on the reservation. The House Judiciary Committee postponed a vote on the measure in March to give the tribe and the sheriff more time to resolve a dispute that has worsened since a cross-deputization pact fell apart 3 years ago. Tribal spokesman Mark Stewart said the agreement is the same one that county officials agreed to during the 2010 Idaho legislature, and they have since altered nearly every contentious material provision in the document, including jurisdiction, the definitions of peace officers, law enforcement on the lake, waivers of immunity, and liability issues. Two measures that initially failed in the Navajo Nation Council recently got the votes needed to pass again after being recalled. One measure allows the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority to grant limited waivers of sovereign immunity. Instead of disputes between parties being settled in tribal court, companies that enter into agreements with NTUA can take up grievances in state or federal court. We're pleased with the outcome and will begin working on these major projects soon, said Walter Wolf, a NTUA consultant. Those projects include a wind farm at the Big Boquillas Ranch on lands owned by the tribe and on Arizona Trust land about 80 miles west of Flagstaff. The first phase of about 85 megawatts is being designed for construction in 2011. 50 state-of-the-art wind turbines will generate power equivalent to the energy needs of up to 20,000 homes when complete. NTUA is seeking tens of millions of dollars in financing for the project. Officials said opportunities to take advantage of tax credits, secure software licensing agreements, and obtain credit support for electric and natural gas supplies became jeopardized without the ability to waive sovereign immunity. The council has granted other enterprises of the Navajo Nation the ability to issue limited waivers of that sovereignty. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank you all for joining with us. Come back again soon. Miigwech.